and welcome
to Sort of the Story.
I'm Janey.
And I'm Max.
And this is episode 180 of Sort of the Story.
Ooh, we're turning it around.
Oh, yeah. Also, this is a podcast where we tell each other stories like fairy tales, folk tales, and mythology. Forgot what the intro was. Wow, it's episode 180. Then I got it.
And also, you are here.
Welcome, guys.
Hi, everybody.
We're recording at 8:25 p.m. on a Monday night.
Yeah, and this isn't even the last thing I have to do today.
Good Lord.
Goodness.
Is there anything that we should chat about?
It was your birthday. We talked about it a little bit in the test, but...
It was a wonderful birthday. I turned 82. For my birthday, I treated myself to a physical therapy appointment where I learned that my spine is whack, yo. And they asked me to stop talking like that. They gave me some old lady exercises. We ate some cheese about it, and I feel pretty good.
Yeah.
We watched Beautician and the Beast, which is truly my favorite movie because Fran Drescher is my favorite person on earth.
Yeah, she's pretty perfect. JD's rewatching The Nanny, which means I'm rewatching The Nanny.
Yeah.
And
our house is great right now.
Yeah, it's pretty darn good.
Yeah. Anyway, it was a great birthday.
I'm very glad.
Yeah. Thank you, Max.
Oh,
for
you're
making
welcome.
a great birthday.
Hey, thanks. I mean, it's nothing compared to Brazilian Vin Diesel from last year, but...
That's true. Last year, I went through something kind of horrific on my birthday, and then Max gave me Brazilian Vin Diesel, which genuinely, it all came out in the wash. This year, I was so tired. I was sitting on the couch, and Max was like, "It's still your birthday. Is there anything I can do?" And I just went, "Bring him to me." Give me Brazilian Vin Diesel. And she found him on her phone, and we listened. Can you play it into the microphone?
Yes, I can. It'll take me a second to find it.
That's fine.
Happy birthday, Janey. You are right. Tokyo Drift is the worst movie in the franchise. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Keep living life a quarter mile at a time. Family.
That's it. That was the whole thing.
Yeah.
So last year, Max went on to, what was it? Cameo, and found somebody that looks just like Vin Diesel and was like, surely he has to be a professional at this. And it turns out it was Brazilian Vin Diesel. And that's what we got.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't speak English, I don't think.
Yeah, I think
he just read the message phonetically.
Yeah. And
it's perfect.
It's so good. Every time I see it, I'm just overwhelmed with how much I hope he's living a good life.
He's gotta be.
I hope so.
He seems so happy. And also, there's a brief moment of silence at the end of that video where he makes a Vin Diesel face and crosses his arms. Just so you guys know, that was.
Yeah. Also know that when he says Tokyo Drift, he goes, chick, Tokyo Drift, chick, because he's giving a sound to quotation marks.
Yes. Which is adorable.
Anyway, he's right. Tokyo Drift is the worst movie in the franchise. If you guys want to keep living your life a quarter mile at a time, you should join our Discord. How do they do that, Max?
You can join the Discord by joining us on Patreon at the $3, $4, or $7 levels. The $3 level is just our basic level, which means you get access to the Discord. You get to hang out with us and all of our pals. It's really spectacular. It's a great time.
Mm-hmm.
$4 gets you access to the Discord, and also we're your girlfriends.
Yeah, we are. And we love you.
And we love you.
Yeah.
$7 tier is you get access to the Discord. We're your girlfriends.
Mm-hmm.
And also you get access to a full-length bonus episode every single month.
And we have quite a few of those.
Yeah, we've got like 40?
42, maybe?
Yeah.
Certainly more than 2 years worth. So, like,
yeah,
you're fine.
Yeah.
Stop complaining.
Stop complaining.
That's enough. Every month there's another one. And when we take our summer breaks, which is going to be either June or July, we don't know yet. It's none of our business. When we take those summer breaks, you still get a full-length bonus episode.
Yes.
Yeah, so.
Pretty exciting stuff.
Definitely do that.
Yeah.
We also give you guys all of our secrets and the Discord. We also ask for your opinions constantly, and you get to do a fun question and answer. And we usually answer all the questions, or at least like 90% of the questions.
Yeah.
And they get really unhinged. They get really unhinged.
Looking at you, the Grunch.
Hey, is it surprising that the Grunch is the unhinged? All right. Well, definitely do that. We want to hang out with you. So, Max.
Yeah.
Now that we have our family. Do you want to tell me a story?
Yes, I'm so ready.
All right. I'm going to pause it for just a second, then we will be back. Don't be scared. Max, don't be scared. Bye.
Ah!
Max, don't listen.
Okay, guys. So the story that I have for you today is a Scottish story.
Okay, guys.
And Janey.
All right, guys. I guess we're already equal footing in Max's eyes. I'm your wife.
All right, guys, and my wife, Janey.
Sure.
My beautiful wife, who I love so much, who is 29 years old.
Again. Okay, yes, you may continue.
Thank you.
Scottish fairy tale, you say?
Yes, this is a Scottish fairy tale written by George MacDonald, who was a Victorian author. He had a lot of influence on Lewis Carroll, C.S. Lewis, and J.R.R. Tolkien. He specifically wrote fairy tales that he said were for people of all ages. So he's like, it doesn't matter how old you are, fairy tales are for you.
He invented E for everyone.
Yeah.
It's nice of him.
This story is called Sir Worm Wimble.
I like him.
Yeah.
That's boyfriend material right there.
Funny you should say that.
Oh.
So this story, Sir Worm Wimble, is told as part of a frame story where it's semi-autobiographical. George
MacDonald. You said George MacDonald, and in my head I said that's racist.
George MacDonald, yes.
That's
Had a
racist.
farm. It's semi-autobiographical. George MacDonald was told a bunch of stories in front of the fireside when he was growing up. And so a lot of his stories are written as him as a little boy being told the story by someone, or like a child being told the story by someone older. So there's a frame story of this where there's this woman, Kirsty, who is
like Kirstie Alley.
Yeah, who is a nurse and who is like knitting by the fire and telling stories to this big group of like unruly children, so they'll go to bed.
Yeah.
And she explains that this is the story of there's this like ancient church nearby where they are in Scotland, and there's a statue of a knight on top of a sarcophagus, like the relief of someone laying down on top of a And so one of the kids asked, like, who's that? And she said, oh, well, that's Sir Worm Wimble. And then she tells the story of Sir Worm Wimble. Okay. And the story establishes that they don't think that that's actually, this might not be the story of Sir Worm Wimble.
Like she might be making it up? She
might be making it up. They also are not sure that that knight is Sir Worm Wimble or if this is that knight's story. It's just kind of a story that she made up, which is fine.
I mean, yeah.
But this is a fun little story that I'm excited about because we haven't talked much about this creature in the past. We've talked a little bit about it before, but not a whole lot.
Wimble?
No.
Like, okay.
It's a Kelpie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about water horses, but we haven't talked a bunch about Kelpies. So this is a Kelpie story.
A Kelpie, which is the only actual water horse. That's some absolute bullshit.
Yep. It's some bullhoney.
No, that's not a thing.
There once was a pot in the Highlands. And you might be saying, oh, you mean like a cast iron pot that you would like cook things in? And you would be wrong.
Okay, so it's weed. Which is what I was actually thinking.
No, Janey, you fool. A pot is a really deep little pond.
Oh.
So deep and so dark that you can't see the bottom.
Okay. Got it.
A pot.
Sorry, I stand corrected.
You do.
If you try to get high in there, you'll drown.
Yeah, you'll get low.
You'll get real low.
I woke up this morning with low stuck in my head.
Low.
Yeah.
Low. Yeah.
Which is part of why I didn't go to work today.
Seems like an omen.
Yeah, I had like low and I'll be home for Christmas stuck in my head, and they just kept switching places, and I was like, I can't go to work like this.
No, couldn't possibly.
No,
I'm
in hell.
They can't see me like this.
So there's a pot in the Highlands, not far from where the story is being told. And in that pot, there is a Kelpie. Now, you might be asking, what the hell is a Kelpie?
Water horse.
A water horse is a really great way to describe it. This story describes it as being like a horse with webbed feet that has the head of a cow.
Oh, okay. Never heard it described like that.
Me neither.
Got it.
But I thought that was interesting. There's an illustration in here that I think is pretty fun. I will show you real quick.
Oh, yeah. Cool. He's
Yeah.
terrifying. That is the face that's like a mixture of a horse and a cow.
Yeah,
And it's very scary.
Slavering.
I don't love the idea of a webbed-toed horse because they don't have toes.
Yeah, later on in the story, they're like, he's walking around and it's like plap, 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 like a frog's feet.
Like a duck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I don't like. What does a Kelpie do, you might ask?
Eats children.
Eats people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
you're
pretty
right.
scary.
So you wouldn't have asked that because you already knew that. So I can just move on. And Kelpies are huge. They're bigger than an ox. They are these like massive creatures that are like the size of a bear or a boar.
Mm-hmm.
And this particular Kelpie has a grudge against a particular young woman. Her name is Nellie.
Okay. Whoa, Nelly.
Whoa, Nellie.
He's like, I don't like her because every time I hear her, I think that she's a horse. She's not.
And she's not.
I had a crush for nothing.
This particular Kelpie very specifically wants to catch and eat Nellie. And he'll like catch and eat other people too, obviously. But like he is obsessed with this girl, Nellie.
Mm-hmm.
And her father knows that the Kelpie is like after her. So he always makes sure that she is in before it gets dark because the Kelpie only comes out at night because the light burns its eyes. So it only comes out at night and it constantly stalks around their house. So Nellie's father, Angus, always makes sure that she is inside. It's not racist. It's just his name.
Nellie reminded me of a horse, but Angus reminds me of beef.
Yeah.
So like the cow horse thing, they're on brand.
Yeah, they really are.
Yeah. But that was stupid, so I wasn't going to say that. You know, we don't have a
stupid.
We don't have a camera in here. They can't see my face and all the beautiful faces I keep making at you.
Well, I don't want to just ignore your face.
It's impossible to do. It shines like a diamond. Rihanna wrote a song about it.
About your face?
Yeah, no big deal.
So they always made sure that Nellie was inside before dark. But even so, the Kelpie would come. I keep wanting to call it a water horse. If I call it a water horse, please know that it's a Kelpie.
Got it.
The Kelpie peeks its head in through the window every night and just watches her.
Oh, God.
This horrifying, like, cow horse thing just, like, stares in through the window. It's really gross and really upsetting. Angus is a shepherd, by the way. So he knows how to take care of animals and how to like handle predators like this because it's a predator is someone who looks into your room at night.
That's true. Every teen protagonist in every John Hughes movie.
Yep. He also knows a lot about like brownies and fairies and other magical creatures. So he knows exactly how dangerous the Kelpie is.
Mm-hmm.
So from the time that she is very small, he impresses upon Nellie, you always have to be home before it gets dark because the Kelpie will come and get you and he will fully eat you.
He doesn't know why he wants to eat this little girl. Do we find that out?
He just wants to.
I guess predators don't need like a reason.
Yeah.
Wow, this really is a metaphor.
Yeah, it definitely feels like one. So she kind of grows up in this restriction of not being able to go out past dark. Mm-hmm. And this, as soon as the sun is down, she has to be back home. But as she gets older, she starts seeing this boy, and he's very handsome. Mm-hmm. And his name is Alistair. And the two of them...
English.
No, Janey, how dare you?
Run, Nellie, run!
The English.
That boy no good.
No, his name's Alistair MacLeod. So he's...
All right.
Yeah. It's okay. He comes by it honest.
Alistair, I'm suspicious of you.
Alistair MacLeod always goes out with Nellie, and they spend the whole day together out in the sunshine in the pastures, just sitting and talking to each other and kissing and canoodling and, you know, all that kind of romance stuff. It's gross. One afternoon, she stays out very, very late, and Alistair doesn't mention anything to her, even though he knows that she's supposed to be back in the house before dark, and he knows why. Yeah. It's because of the
monster that will eat her.
The monster that will eat her, absolutely. That is like just absolutely chomping at the bit to eat her.
Yeah.
So even knowing this, he's like, but we're having so much fun. So he neglects to remind her that it's time to go inside, which it's not his job to remind her. She should know, but also could be cool if you did.
Yeah, it would be nice if you wanted her to live to tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. So Nellie doesn't notice what time it is until the sky starts turning purple. Mm-hmm. I don't know why that was so hard for me.
So
As the sky begins to darken, Nellie jumps up from where they're laying in the field and she's like, I've got to get home. I can't be out past dark. And he's like, I know, like, run, you're okay. Go for it. And so she runs as fast as she can back home. As she's running, she passes by the pot where the Kelpie lives.
yeah. Oh no.
She has to. It's like right near her house. So she had to pass by the pot to get home. So she ran as fast as she could. And she was just passing by when the last twinkle of sunlight dipped below the horizon. And as she passed by the pot, she heard a loud splashing sound from the pot behind her.
Horrifying.
And the worst part is Kelpies are silent. They walk silently, basically, up until they're like right on top of you.
So the splashing sound maybe isn't him?
No, it could be, but like if it was chasing her, she wouldn't know until it was like on her.
Oh, so don't slow down.
Yeah, exactly. So she can't slow down. She can't like look behind her because that'll slow her down. So she just has to run full tilt towards her house, and she can see her front door is open. Her father's not home. He's like gone out to look for her because she wasn't home in time for dark.
Yeah.
But he left the front door open so that she could just run straight in.
Good.
Yeah, absolutely. So she sprints as fast as she can, and she feels like hot breath on her heels right before she leaps through the door frame and into the house.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this house is blessed by a rowan branch over the doorway, so
Okay.
the Kelpie cannot come in no matter what.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
So scary.
Yeah. But when Nellie throws herself through the door, she doesn't quite make it as far as she's expecting to, and her little foot is stuck outside of the door.
Oh.
And so the Kelpie, which is right behind her, grabs her by the foot and tries to pull her out of the house. In the process, it ends up pulling off her shoe, and she's able to scramble all the way inside.
Cool.
And she just sees this creature with, like, holding onto her shoe, furious, standing outside of her door.
What the fuck is this dude's problem?
He wants to eat her.
I think I would move. Send her away to live with relatives.
Maybe.
Jesus.
The story also establishes that he's, like, eating other people also,
This
but he
town
really
needs
wants
to
to
get
eat
rid
her
of this
specifically. Yeah.
Kelpie.
Seriously, this seems like a problem that we should be addressing.
He needs to go to jail. Make a trap and then leave him out in the sunlight. Let him dry up. That's simply what I would do.
Agreed.
Yeah. We'd be so good at trapping this fucker.
Yes, we would be.
You and I, he comes into the house like, haha, no rowan branch. And then you hear me going, hey, it's me, I'm playing video games. And he's like, what? And then you walk in and you're like, I bet you were thinking you were going to meet a 13-year-old named Nellie here, weren't you? We catch a predator. That was a long way to walk for that joke.
I liked it.
I'm the 13-year-old decoy.
Yeah.
And you're Chris Hansen.
Mbop.
Different Hansen. You're thinking Zach and Taylor and the other one.
Chris?
His name is not Chris.
It could be Chris. You don't know.
Chris Hansen is person.
Take your time.
No, I'm having a stroke. You keep going.
At this point in the frame story, one of the little kids who's listening to the story of the Kelpie being told is like, that's not true. That didn't happen. Kelpies aren't real.
I have this kid. I have this kid in the 3rd grade. He drives you fucking crazy.
Yeah. And they're like, she probably heard a fish splash in the pot, and she probably got her shoe stuck in the mud, and that's why she didn't have a shoe. And Kirsty, the woman telling the story, is like, okay, or counterpoint, I'm telling the story, so you shut up.
They don't. They never do.
They never do.
They never do. It doesn't work.
Nope. And this little kid is like, I bet the thing wasn't even outside of her house. I bet it wasn't even there. And she was like, well, she saw the Kelpie outside of her window. And the kid was like, yeah, but I seen like rats in my room, and I thought that they were lions because it was dark and I was tired and scared.
Well,
so
you sound like an idiot.
Yeah.
It's not Nellie's fault that you're dumb.
Yeah. So she's like, anyways, and then she gets back to the story.
Yeah. Good for her.
Nellie stays inside the house, and finally her father Angus comes back home, and he is like desperately worried about her, and he immediately flies into a rage, not at her, not even at the monster, but at her boyfriend. Which like he knew that she had this boyfriend. He knew that they were going out. Like this whole he was aware of the entire thing, but he's pissed off because this guy, Alistair MacLeod,
Yeah.
is of a higher rank than them. And so he's like, it would be one thing if he really, really cared about you.
Yeah.
And, you know, wanted to keep your relationship a secret because of who his family is. It's another thing if he actually doesn't give a shit about you and wants to keep you a secret, you know?
Keep you a secret.
Because they only ever hang out in the woods and stuff.
I mean, yeah, that's totally fair. He's mad about the wrong thing.
Yeah, I agree. There are lots of things to be mad about, but I would be mostly mad at the predator.
I would be mad at the predator. I would be very angry that this kid, you know, knew the rules. I'd be mad at her. I mean, it would be a misplaced anger, but I would be mad at her for being like, you very clearly know this is a thing, and you stayed out with your boyfriend, and I'm pissed at your boyfriend because he knows this, and what was he up to?
Yeah.
That he decided not to remind you. Like, both of you are stupid and you can't hang out in the woods anymore. I wouldn't be like, I'm mad that he's ashamed of you.
Yeah. It definitely seems like it is that, but it's also the fact that he's like, I can tell from his actions that he actually doesn't care that much about you, because if he cared, he would have gotten you home on time. You know?
Absolutely. Also, I'm sorry, you didn't have to tell us that they were from different classes. His name is Alistair, and her name is Nellie.
That's fair. The story says, but why was he angry with the gentleman? Because he liked her company better than he loved herself. So he's like, he likes having her on the side, but he doesn't want her to be his real thing.
Absolutely. So. Ooh, we all know a fucking asshole like this.
Yep.
I assume. I'm projecting. Girl, it's a situationship. It's not worth being eaten by the Kelpie over.
Yeah. Kirsty goes on to explain, at least that's what the shepherd said, and that he ought to have seen her safe home.
Yeah.
But he didn't know that MacLeod's father had threatened to kill him if he ever spoke to the girl again. So there's like another layer of secrecy where Alistair MacLeod's dad was like, if you see Nellie again, I'm going to kill you.
Kill you, not her.
Kill Alistair.
Oh, God. Now I feel bad for him. Got a very bad dad.
So, yeah. It's not really a good situation for anyone, I would say.
Sure.
Definitely worst for Nellie.
I mean, is it worse for Nellie? Because it sounds like Alistair's also living with a sort of predator that is threatening his life.
Yeah. All right.
Except that she doesn't have to live in the same home as
she
her
kind of
predator.
Does.
She doesn't. He can't get inside. Anyway, now I'm on his side. Fuck you, farmer. Alistair's fine. Where are they? How old are they? I'll adopt them. You're my babies now.
And then one of the kids who's listening to Kirsty's story says, but I thought this story was about Sir Wimble, not Mr. MacLeod.
I forgot about Sir Wimble.
Yeah. And Kirsty is like, how about you shut your mouth and we'll get to it?
Kirsty, I get you, girl.
How about you just slam that trap shut? How about?
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Did I get to the point where I said your fucking name? I didn't. Maybe wait till that part where I say your name.
I wasn't going to say this because it's confusing, but one of the kids is named Alistair.
Why the fuck would you do that?
I don't know.
And
this
you gave
story
him
is
a
confusing.
bad dad and you make him fuck in the woods? Now Kirsty's the problem.
No, she's like, you were named after this knight, Alistair, and like tries to explain.
Knight? Oh, he's just a boy at this point. This is their backstory. I'm sorry. Now I'm confused by the frame story.
Yes, it's confusing. And that's why I wasn't going to include it. But the fact that you were like, yeah, I didn't say your name specifically. I was like, well, actually, she did a bunch of times.
And he's like, I'm sorry. Did you make up this story? Oh, weird, Kirsty. I'm a minor.
So Kirsty explains that he wasn't Sir Wimble back then. His name was, at the time, Alistair MacLeod.
Wow, what a downgrade of naming.
I know.
Wimble.
Sir Wimble.
Is his name Sir Worm?
Sir Wimble.
3 things.
Yeah.
I was like, what if his first name was Sir Worm?
Sir Worm. Discord name, if ever I've heard one.
Sir Worm.
Sir Worm. So Nellie's father says that she's never to see Alistair again. And Nellie is like, okay, Dad, sure. And she's like, well, at least let me tell him like why I can't see him anymore. Because otherwise I'll just disappear and he'll be really worried.
Yeah.
So she goes out and she talks to Alistair and she's like, I'm sorry, I can't see you anymore. My dad's really disappointed that you didn't walk me home that time that I was going to be eaten by a monster.
Fair.
Yeah.
And also, he doesn't like your baggy pants.
Was he a skater boy?
But he's a skater boy, and her dad does not. He wants to say, see you later, boy.
So she tells him that she can never see him again, and he says nothing, and so she goes back home. And then the next day, he shows up at her front door in full armor, carrying a sword and a dirk and a dagger. And he knocks on the door, and her dad answers the door, and he's like, okay, I'm going to go kill this Kelpie. So
I love Alistair. I never doubted him.
Yeah. It's like, I'm going to go destroy this Kelpie because that is the only thing that will keep Nellie safe.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that in the process, it will prove to you that I am like worthy of her love. And her dad's like, okay, but you're going to get murdered by the Kelpie. So
worth
see
it.
ya.
See you later, boy.
And he's like, well, you know a lot about like the fairies and the brownies and everything. Why don't you help me out and like help me figure out how to stop the Kelpie?
If he knew, surely he would have done that already, right?
Maybe, maybe not.
This dad is complicit.
Yeah. So the dad's like, yes, I will help you, but that doesn't mean that you like get to have my daughter. And Alistair's like, okay, well, I understand that. But will you give us your blessing if I'm able to slay the Kelpie? And her dad's like, if you're able to slay the Kelpie and you take your relationship public and stop hiding her like she's something to be ashamed of, then yes, I would be happy to have you as a son-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the
Problem
two of them...
is nobody here is really a bad guy, but I'm conditioned to find a villain.
And the villain is the Kelpie, Janey.
And to distrust men. The villain is never the Kelpie.
No, the villain is the Kelpie.
I feel like that's not true. What's his home life?
He lives in a pot.
Well, there you go.
I actually have a little illustration here of Alistair striding up to Nellie's cottage.
Okay, let me see.
Take a look.
Okay, so he's very Scottish. He is wearing a kilt. It's all red tartan. I feel like you don't usually see that, especially in illustrations. Usually they just go straight for the green, so that I like that. And there's red scabbards on all his swords and his knives and his high, sexy stockings. He's got a big red beard. He is hot. He's wearing a wedding ring.
Don't like that.
You dog. Maybe there's a reason why his dad's like, oh, no, you can't hang out with Nellie. You're a married man. Get a job. Perhaps. Otherwise, this is a gorgeous illustration.
Yeah, I love the illustrations in this book, which I don't think I said it at the top, but this is the World Treasury of Fairy Tales and Folklore, Family Heirloom of Stories to Inspire and Entertain by Professor William Gray with Joanna Galar and Rosa Lamson. This is the big pillow-bound edition that we've used a bunch of times.
Max used it for the 3 Snake Leaves, which was her first story ever, and I used it for the King Pig.
The Pig King.
The Pig King story that we did live. Yeah. Very, very good book.
Yeah. It's a really good one. It's, I feel like it is designed to be like a treasury edition for like kids to have and like be able to like read stories from. And I feel like they did a really good job of making it like that.
Yeah. Every story that we've ever had of it on the podcast is a banger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all great. So Nellie's father says basically, like, if you make an honest woman out of my daughter, then yes, you can marry her. And Alistair turns bright red from embarrassment and then sort of puts his head down and looks back up and he's like, okay, yes, I promise that I will tell everyone.
Okay.
So he's like, so I've got my claymore, I've got my dirk and my skeena doof, which is a little black dagger that you keep in your sock.
Skeena doof.
And he's like, so let's go kill this Kelpie. And the dad's like, you're not going to be able to just kill the Kelpie like that. Kelpies have a hide that is 3 times as thick as the skin of a boar.
Okay.
So you're going to have to come up with something really smart as a way to like get through that super thick hide, because otherwise you're just going to ding off of it and not do anything.
Cut to him buying a bazooka. Say less, Pops.
Yep. So Angus swears to kill the Kelpie.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the little kids in the frame story interrupts and says, what if the Kelpie ate him?
Yeah.
And Kirsty says, then he'd have to go without the girl. Where she's like,
then
obviously
he's
they can't be
single.
together. Yeah.
He dies a virgin, Alistair. What do you want from me? Stop interrupting!
So Alistair and Angus get together and they set up a plan. What they do is they spend an entire day hauling rocks into these 2 pathways that lead from the pot to the door of the cottage.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes them a full day to like roll all of these boulders into place so that they're basically like 2 parallel tracks. And then they go to sleep that night and the Kelpie like peers in through their window and it's horrifying, but they can't finish all of this in one day.
Can't you make her like a Rowanwood hat?
Janey.
Make her like a big wide-brimmed Rowanwood hat. These people aren't thinking with their fashion brain. This season's all about Rowanwood shoes, Rowanwood necklace,
Rowanwood hat.
Rowanwood purse. So he can never steal your shit.
Rowanwood nails. Click, clack, click, clack.
Yeah. Drinking Rowanwood tea. He's like, damn it!
They go to sleep and the Kelpie looks in through the window and is horrifying all night.
Mm-hmm.
They wake up in the morning and they finish their work. So what they do is they take a bunch of rowan tree twigs and they connect all of the boulders together. So it's like a fence on either side. So basically they're making a track directly from the pot to the cottage front door.
Okay. So he can't like get out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's high enough and it's like bordered with rowan wood, so he can't pass through this like fence on either side.
Mm-hmm.
And then they fill in the spaces in between with peat because it's Scotland.
They should do the Temple Grandin thing where the little path keeps getting like thinner and thinner until he's just being hugged and he gets really docile.
I imagine that might work. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would do it. Rowanwood panties. Rowanwood bra.
Rowanwood false teeth.
Yeah, for the George Washington look.
Yeah. And then they set up a huge fire right outside the door of the cottage. And Alistair goes out and brings back a pig that they slaughter and prepare to cook over the fire.
Mm-hmm.
And then Angus brings out a tool that I'm not sure I know the purpose of, and I wasn't really able to find a lot about it. It's kind of like an auger.
What's an auger?
That's a great question. It's this. I'm going to show you the illustration.
Oh, it's like a one of those like screw thing. It's like a
corkscrew.
It's like a corkscrew.
It's like a huge corkscrew that you're supposed to drive into the earth to make holes, basically.
Yeah, that would make a hole.
Yeah.
Kind of looks like what I have to tie Summer's leash to.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Yeah.
Your like ground stake that you
And you
leash Summer to.
Screw it into the ground.
Yeah, it looks like a wine corkscrew kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this tool is called a wimble.
Wimble.
A wimble.
Okay, we got one
Yeah.
good explanation. I mean, I guess we don't. We just have we have an idea what a wimble is. I guess we don't know why he's called that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not yet. What's a wimble? Asked little Alistair.
Says nothing. What's a wimble with you?
What's a wimble with you? And Kirsty answers, a wimble is a long tool like a great gimlet. It's like,
What's a gimlet? And she's like, it's
an auger.
gimlet's about $3 at the bar. What?
It's not expensive enough for a gimlet.
Well, it's way back in the day.
Oh, I forgot about inflation.
They don't have TV, Max. You think they have something more than $3?
That's true. That's really fair.
Mm-hmm.
So they get this wimble and they set it in the fire underneath the pig, and they let it sort of cook in the fire until it's white hot.
Yeah.
They close Nellie away into the house and they wait for nightfall.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as the sun goes down, the Kelpie comes galloping out of the pot, not even looking twice at like the barriers on either side. He doesn't care. He's like, I'm going to go get that Nellie for sure. And he smells this smell of like cooking pig. And he's like, that smells like something that I could eat. Maybe, perhaps.
Sounds
So
good to me.
Yeah. So they draw him in with the smell of cooking meat.
Yeah.
And then the Kelpie runs all the way down this like track that they've set up for him until he finally gets to the fireplace, the fire pit where they're cooking the pig. And Angus and Alistair are both hiding behind a bunch of barrels. And Angus's plan was to wait until the Kelpie like was in the pig and was like going at it, and then
Ew.
I could have phrased that differently.
Really was in the pig and going at it?
He fucks the pig.
If I was Alistair, I wouldn't want to wait for that either.
No.
Good Lord.
But Alistair was like, why would we waste the pig? So as soon as the Kelpie appears, Alistair runs out from where he's hiding. He grabs the great gimbal and he drives it directly into the like big torso of the Kelpie.
Yeah.
And he gives it a mighty crank. And so it twists its way further and further into the hide of the Kelpie.
Mm-hmm.
The Kelpie like shrieks and tries to gallop away, but it can't go anywhere because it's bordered on all sides by this like Rowan fence.
Yeah.
And Alistair is also fast enough that he can keep up with the Kelpie while it's like contained in this area here. So he's able to keep on it, and he just keeps twisting and twisting and twisting.
Ugh.
The Wimble? The Wimble. I keep thinking the gimlet and then the Wimble, and then I'm like, the gimbal? No, the Wimble.
I was thinking gimbal too.
Yeah.
The Wimblet.
Wimlet.
Cute.
He keeps twisting and twisting and twisting until finally he twists straight through into the creature's heart, and the Kelpie falls down dead.
Good for him.
Yeah. So they go into the house and they let Nellie out and they show her that the beast is dead. And from that day forward, Alistair is known as a mighty monster slayer. He gains the name Sir Worm Wimble. Don't ask me about the worm. I think it's because he like worms the Wimble into... He like worms it in.
Maybe because he made a little wormy path.
Maybe. It's not super clear.
Okay. I like the name Worm.
Yeah, Sir Worm Wimble.
Yeah, okay.
Sir Worm.
Is it spelled W-O-R-M?
Yes.
Okay, well then I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's from a different thing. Maybe that's like a mean childhood nickname.
Yeah.
They're making fun of his penis.
They're like, this kid eats worms.
Yeah.
So from that day forward, Alistair is known as Sir Worm Wimble. Angus gives Nellie's hand in marriage to Alistair, and his father learns to live with it.
Okay. Good.
And that's the story of that night in the church over there, probably. The end.
That was very scary. That's
Yeah.
very much a nightmare
Yes.
of being chased, action-packed. If I was a little kid, I would be riveted hearing that.
Mm-hmm.
I think Alistair is hotter when you realize how Scottish he is. I will put this picture on our Instagram.
Yes.
Yeah, big fan.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked that I learned some new words.
Yeah, Wimble, Gimlet, Wimlet.
Wimble, gimlet, auger, and Scanadoove.
Worm,
And pot.
pot. Worm pot.
Worm pot.
Delightful, Max. Very good.
Thank you.
Do you want to take a little break?
Yeah, let's do a little break and then come back and tell another story.
Yeah. Summer's dying for us to take a break. He wants so badly to squeak his toys. All right, we'll be right back. Okay, Max.
Okay, Janey.
Max, okay. So I am bringing out a book we've used before as well. Folk and Fairy Tales. Folk and Fairy Tales.
Fucking fairy tales.
Edited by Martin Hallett and Barbara Karasek. This is the 4th edition. I love this. This is very much a textbook of fairy tales. It was clearly meant for people who are studying,
Yeah.
folk tales and literature, stuff like that in college. It mostly has like variations of, so it's like a study of the variations. So it has like 7 or 8 different Little Red Riding Hood versions from different writers, including The Company of Wolves by Angela Carter.
Mm-hmm,
It has a bunch of Sleeping Beauty variations, Cinderella variations, and then it has some sections that are themed. So I got this one from A Less Than Perfect World, which is one of the sections,
Mhm.
and it is called A Toy Princess.
Oh,
I'm really excited to tell this story. This one had me feeling all sorts of things.
I am terrified of this story because The title just reminds me of The Little Tin Soldier.
I don't know. I know
Really?
that story?
Oh my god, it's fucking devastating. It's fucking devastating. I think it's a Hans Christian Andersen.
Oh, well, then you should tell it on the podcast.
Yeah.
Make us cry.
Yeah, I had like a book of it when I was a kid, and it's yeah, it's in the same kind of vein as
The Little Match Girl.
no, what was that one? I don't remember, but yeah, it's very sad.
All right. Well,
So I'm afraid that this is going to be sad.
it won't be sad,
Okay.
but I do think that it is very good. Okay. Are you ready?
Mhm.
A Toy Princess by Mary de Morgan. Quote, more than 1,000 years ago, in a country quite on the other side of the world, it fell out that the people all grew so very polite that they hardly ever spoke to each other. End quote. This is a very British way of writing. It's hard. When I read it, it was in a little accent.
Little British accent.
They were so very polite. Okay, so the only thing they ever really said was, quote, just so. Yes, indeed. Thank you, and if you please. They believed it was the rudest thing in the world if you said you liked or disliked something, or if you loved or hated something, or if you were very happy or very miserable. You were rude. If you laughed, you were callous. If you cried, all of your friends would stop talking to you, and you would have no more friends.
This is a very British story.
It really is. The king of this emotionless land married a princess from a neighboring kingdom, and while she was absolutely beautiful and kind and just a very good person, her land was the exact opposite of his. When her people were happy, they laughed, and when they were sad, they would cry, and they never hid any of their emotions, and they got on just fine, and they were very happy and probably lived a long time. And unfortunately, the princess was exactly like her people. So when she got to her new home, she was immediately a fish out of water. No one came to celebrate the arrival of their new queen. So when they would have done that in her land, and that was what she was expecting. So immediately she was like, oh, they hate me. Okay, That's fine. They're not excited about this. The people were very distant and formal, and they wouldn't talk to her at all. And when she realized that this was going to be her whole life, surrounded by these stiff, quiet people who didn't understand her, she just cried and cried and cried because she was homesick and really lonely and kind of scared about the prospects of the rest of her life.
Yeah.
And every time she would cry, people were like, ew.
That's disgusting.
You're rude. Every day she grew thinner and paler. Everyone was, quote, much too polite to notice how sick she was getting. But she noticed, and she realized pretty soon, she's like, oh, I'm going to die here. I'm not going to make it.
Oh my god.
It just so happened that the queen had a fairy godmother named Tabaret. Tabaret.
That's beautiful.
Who she loved very dearly. I know, but it took everything in me not to write the fairy meddler. Because in my head, that's what all fairies are named now. That replaced everything. Tabaret. So she loved Tabaret, and Tabaret loved her. When she realized she was dying, she called the fairy to her, and the two had a long talk. No one knows what was said in that meeting. By the way, I think that this is a very thinly veiled suggestion that the queen took her own life. I don't think I think she's depressed, and I think that's kind of what they were talking about.
Yeah.
Soon after this meeting, the queen gave birth to a princess, and then she died shortly after. Quote, of course, all the courtiers were sorry for the poor queen's death, but it would have been thought rude to say so. So they had a big grand funeral, and the court was in mourning, but of course, their mourning looks very different than what ours would. And very soon they went back as they had done before. The baby was named Ursula, and some of the court ladies were charged to raise her. And the poor little princess was exactly like her mother. When she was cold or hungry or gassy, she cried. And she cried loudly. When she was really happy or she thought something was funny, she would crow and giggle and kick her little baby feet. And everyone was like, what a rude, classless baby. Wow.
What do their babies do?
Nothing.
They just come out stoic?
They're stoic. They don't have any emotions, I guess.
That's weird.
Or if they do, they're kind of trained out of it, which is what they were trying to do with this baby, but she was really hard to train out of it. So until she was about 2 years old, no one could get this baby to shut the hell up. But at around 2, she started to learn what it was to be polite and quiet. When she would cry, her nurses told her in very cold, polite voices that she was being very naughty. Eventually, she learned to be really quiet and to keep her big feelings inside. She was very pretty when she was a baby, quote, with a round baby face and big merry blue eyes. But as she grew older, her eyes grew less and less merry and bright, and her fat little face grew thin and pale, end quote. She was never allowed to play with the other children, quote, lest she might learn bad manners, and she was also never given any toys or taught to play any games. When she was not at her lessons, she passed her time looking out the window at birds flying in the clear blue sky. Sometimes when the ladies weren't listening, she would give a sad little sigh.
Oh.
I love this little girl so much. One day, the fairy Tabaret made herself invisible so she could pop in and check on the little girl. She found her sitting in the nursery window, her little head resting on her hand. The room she was in was this big, beautiful, ornate room, but there were no toys in it. There was no color. And when Tabaret saw this, she kind of started frowning and shaking her head like, where the fuck am I? This is a kid's room? The head nurse, while Tabaret was there invisible, the head nurse came in and told Ursula, dinner is ready. And Ursula said, I don't want any dinner, without turning her head. And the nurse said, I told you before that it is not polite to say that you don't want something or that you don't like something. So dinner is ready. And she's like, okay. Oh. And then she went to the little dinner table where no one talked or laughed or looked at her or paid any attention. The fairy frowned even more than before at this, and then she flew off back to her home, where she spent hours deep in thought. She just couldn't stop thinking about this little life that she was living. Finally, Tabaret rose and went to visit the largest shop in Fairyland. It was a shop that had everything you'd ever need, from food to dresses to hats and games, and nothing was what it seemed. It was magic. It's a fairy store. Mm-hmm. She went to the shopmaster, who knew her as one of his best customers. So he ran up and he's like, oh, madame, Tabaret, what could I do for you? Anything for you. And she answered, I want a princess. And he said, oh, we have one or two in stock. What size would you like? And she answered, no, this princess needs to be about 6 years old, and she needs to grow like a real girl would grow. The wise old wizard, because he's a wizard, told her that he could make one, but it would be expensive, and she waved him off and was like, it's fine. And then she showed him a picture of the little princess and was like, you need to make it look exactly like her. She told him she would need it by tomorrow night, and he was like, ooh, custom design, rush order, very pricey. She's like, okay. And then he said, what sort of voice is it to have? And she answered, it need not be at all talkative, so that won't add much to the price. It need only say, if you please, no thank you, certainly, and just so. And he was like, okay, I can do it let me calculate. And he took out his little calculator. And he's like, well, I can carry the two, and it's going to have hair. And then he went back and he said, 4 cats' footfalls, 2 fishes' screams, and 2 swan songs. And she was like, too much!
2 swan songs?
She said, I'll give you the footfalls and the screams, but to ask for swan songs? And the story says, in truth, she was secretly fine with this price. She could pay it, no big deal, but she loved to haggle.
Nice.
The shopkeeper said, I cannot do it for less. If it's too much, go to another shop. And she was like, all right, I guess it's fine. Have it to me by tomorrow. And whatever you do, quote, don't make it at all noisy or rough in its ways. And then she left.
She's not very good at haggling.
No, she just wanted to see if you would bend. He didn't? Fine. You can have your fucking swan songs.
She just didn't even have a counter offer. She was just like, no. And he was like, then no.
She's like, oh, all right.
1 swan song.
Nope. The next evening she returned, and he presented the most perfect little toy princess. She looked just like Ursula, so much so no one, fairy or mortal, would ever be able to tell the difference between the two. Quote, she raised her wand in the air and waved it 3 times, and there arose a series of strange sounds. The first was a low tramping, the second shrill and piercing screams, the third voices of wonderful beauty singing a very sorrowful song. End quote. Then she took the toy princess and left. Back at the castle, the little princess had been very naughty that night. She had refused to go to bed, and it had taken the ladies of the court a long time to get her into her crib. When she was there, she didn't really sleep. She just laid there pretending until everyone left. Then she crept out of her bed, and she stole to the window very quietly, where she sat in her window seat, quote, all curled up in a little bunch, looking wistfully at the moon.
Aww.
She rested her chin on her tiny little hands, and she gazed out. Tears rose up in her eyes, but she remembered that this was something that naughty girls did, and she hastily wiped them away with her sleeve.
Oh.
She said, quote, "Ah, Moon, pretty bright Moon. I wonder if they let you cry when you want to. I think I'd like to go up there and live with you. I'm sure it would be nicer than being here." End quote.
Aw.
And then suddenly she heard a voice behind her. A woman said, "Would you like to go away with me?" And she turned around, and standing in her room was a beautiful old woman. And she wasn't afraid because this woman had a very kind smile. And the story is like, but she also had like a hooked nose and a long chin, which I'm like,
Mhm.
all right, beautiful old woman. You don't have to say it twice.
Yeah.
So she says, quote, "Where would you take me?" she asked, sucking her thumb.
Oh.
And the woman replied, "I'd take you to the seashore, where you'd be able to play about on the sands, and where you'd have some little boys and girls to play with, and no one would tell you not to make a noise." And immediately Ursula was like, "Ah, fucking let's go." Ran up like, hell yeah. Fuck yeah. Started smashing shit. The old woman smiled and gathered her tenderly up in her arms and then folded her in a warm red cloak. And they rose into the air and they flew out the window, right over the tops of the houses. And after flying for a while, Ursula fell fast asleep, and still they flew on. And then the real Tabaret appeared in the bedroom.
No.
I'm kidding. No, that doesn't happen. But can you imagine?
What?
I thought that was so scary. Just kidding. No, that's the real Tabaret. Calm your heart. Tabaret and Ursula flew for miles and miles.
Why would you do that?
Away from the palace and towards the sea. Horror story.
Oh my god.
Eventually, they reached a tiny fishing village and landed in front of a little hut where a fisherman and his wife lived. They had 3 children named Oliver, Philip, and Little Belle, who were all bright-eyed and rosy-cheeked. They played all day on the seashore, and they screamed till they were hoarse, and they laughed until their stomachs hurt. The fairy gently placed the sleeping child on their doorstep. She kissed her cheeks, and then with one gust of wind blew the door open. And then she disappeared before anyone could see her. The fisherman and his wife were inside, sitting quietly, which I'm guessing is like the first quiet moment of their whole day.
Mm-hmm.
He was mending his net, and she was making children's clothes. Without any noise at all, the door opened and the cold night air blew in. And the wife stood up to see who was at the door, and she gasped when she saw that there was this beautiful little girl in like this really pristine white nightdress sleeping on her front porch. And she said, quote, "Husband, see, here's a little girl," she said, lifting her in her arms and carrying her into the cottage. With the light on her, Ursula kind of opened her eyes, and then she looked around, and she was fucking terrified. She doesn't remember anything that happened. Like, she kind of has this, like, vague memory of kind of who she is, but it's, like, fading really fast. She doesn't remember flying with Tabaret. All she knows is that she's suddenly with strangers. And she starts, like, trembling, like, a lot because she's so scared, but she doesn't cry because she doesn't think that that's allowed.
Oh.
The only thing she could remember was that she was the Princess Ursula. That's what she tells them. Quote, "On hearing this, the good man and woman thought the poor little girl must be a trifle mad." They're like, okay.
I'm a princess.
Sure. But when they examined her nightgown, they saw that it was high quality and it had a little embroidered crown in the corner. So they were like, obviously she comes from a wealthy family. So somebody's going to come claim her. So what we'll do is we'll just let everybody know that we have her, and we'll just keep her here and keep her safe until somebody comes to get her. So that night, the woman gave her some warm bread and milk and then put her in bed with her own little daughter. Back at the castle, the court ladies came to wake up Princess Ursula, and they were delighted to find the most agreeable, polite young lady. When they said, "It's time to wake up, Your Royal Highness," the little girl said, "Certainly," and then allowed herself to be dressed without a word. Time passed, and she was never naughty. She barely spoke, and everyone was like, "Vastly improved." The ladies talked about how good her manners were, and the king, quote, "noticed her with pleasure." He's like,
Good.
Max, don't be rude.
Oh, my bad.
Max, don't be rude. Back at the fisherman's cottage, the real Ursula grew tall and straight as an alder, and was happy and free as a bird. No one ever came to claim her, so the good fisherman and his wife raised her as their own. She played on the beach and went to school, and her old life was a dream she barely remembered. Whenever her foster mother would take out her old nightgown and speculate on where she came from, Ursula would say, "It doesn't matter. I'm here with you. I want to stay with you. I hope nobody ever comes to claim me." And she's like, "Yeah, me too."
Aww.
She grew up tall and strong, and as she grew, the toy princess grew too. She was just like her. Quote, Only that whereas Ursula's face was sunburnt and her cheeks red, the face of the toy princess was pale, with only a very slight tint in her cheeks. Years passed, and real Ursula was a tall young woman, and the toy Ursula was said to be the most beautiful woman at court, and everyone admired her manners, and all she ever said was, "If you please," and "No thank you," and "Certainly," and "Just so," and everyone's like, wow, she's smart. The king was now an old man, and the fisherman and his wife were also gray-haired. Most of their fishing was done by their eldest son, Oliver, now. And Ursula waited on them and cleaned the house and did the needlework. In fact, she was so useful that they genuinely would not have gotten on without her. Like, she was just very helpful in their old age. From time to time, the fairy Tabaret would make herself invisible and visit the cottage to see how Ursula was growing up. And then one day, she appeared and caught Ursula and Oliver standing on the beach together, watching the waves. And Oliver was in the middle of saying, "When we are married, we will live in that little cottage yonder so that we can come and see them every day. But that will not be till little Belle is old enough to take your place, for what would my mother do without you?" And Ursula said, "Yeah, and we better not tell them that we want to marry, or they will think that they're preventing us from being happy." And he's like, "Yeah, we won't tell them yet. It's okay." So they're both like, just thinking about how it would affect the family and how it's fine. We can be together and happy until everyone's ready for us to grow up, basically. Being very sweet. Hearing this, though, Tabaret was like, "Oh, I fucked up. Oh, I fucked up." So she left feeling very grave indeed. She went to the castle to see how things were going there, and she popped in just as the king was in the middle of a state council. She made herself visible, and everyone was like, "Ah! Hello?" And the king begged her to have a seat next to her, quote, as he was always glad to have her help and advice, end quote.
So he recognizes her.
Yes, he does. He knows who she is, which I'm going to put in a couple quotes about the king that I found noteworthy. So the first one, he's always glad to have her help and advice. He told her they were discussing his retirement and his plans to abdicate his throne to his daughter, who's perfect. And Tabaret was like, "Can I talk to you over there?" Just real quick. She literally was like, "We'll be right back. We'll be right back." And like shoved him into a corner and was like, was like whispering. And it says that he listens, quote, much to his surprise and alarm, end quote. After about half an hour, he returned to his council, looking very white, quote, with a dreadful expression on his face, whilst he held a handkerchief to his eyes. He told his council that the fairy had just informed him that, quote, "Our dear, dear daughter," sobs choked his voice, and he was almost unable to proceed. He said, quote, is in fact not our daughter at all, and only a sham." And at this, the king was overpowered by grief, and he sank into his chair, and the fairy Tabaret stepped forward and finished the story.
Ew.
The courtiers...
How rude.
You would think. The courtiers looked at one another in surprise, and they obviously didn't believe her. The prime minister said, "The princess is truly a charming young lady." And the other one's like, "Yeah, she's fine. What is she talking about?" They asked if the king had any complaints about his daughter. They're like, "Do you not like her or something?" And he cried, "None whatsoever. She was ever an excellent daughter." And the chancellor said, "Then I don't know why we should believe this lady." He calls her this lady.
This lady?
And Tabaret said, quote, "If you don't believe me, you old idiots, call the princess here and I'll soon prove my words." You old idiots.
Yo, idiots.
So they called the princess in, and she came attended by her ladies. She said nothing, for she never spoke unless she was spoken to, and she stood in the middle of the room silently. The king began, "We have desired that your presence be requested." But Tabaret, quote, without any ceremony, advanced towards her and struck her lightly on the head with her wand. At this, the princess's head rolled off her body, which stood motionless, and everyone watched as the head flipped over, and they saw that it was empty inside. And it said, "Just so," pleasantly, as it rolled towards the king's feet, and the courtiers nearly fainted in terror.
Me too.
That's my favorite thing. When he recovered, the king said, "So you're saying the real princess is just out there, waiting for us to come adopt her?" They had the toy princess placed in a cupboard, while the fairy went to fetch Ursula. It's just in there like, "Just so." "Certainly. Thank you." That evening, she flew to the cottage and told the family all about Ursula's past. They cried and they wailed and held each other when she was like, Ursula has to leave and go take over a kingdom now. And even though she was sobbing as well, Ursula said, if I really am a great princess, I will have you all come live with me. I'm sure the king, my father, will wish it when he hears how good you have all been to me. She's like, don't worry, he's going to love you guys.
Aw.
Tabaret came for Ursula soon after and took her away in a coach and four to drive her to the court. On the way there, she stopped and transformed her clothing into a white silk dress trimmed with gold, with pearls around her neck and in her hair. So she looked like a princess. The king and council were all assembled to quietly greet her. The door opened, and Tabaret led Ursula out by the hand. She pointed and said, that's your father. And just because this is how she would react, Ursula ran up, threw her arms around his neck, and gave him a loud kiss on the cheek. Mwah! His Majesty almost swooned, and the courtiers all shut their eyes and shivered. And one of them was like, my God. And like she looked around and she said, what have I done? Have I kissed the wrong person? And then they were all like, ah, there's our good princess. We hate her. Tabaret said, come now, if you don't like her, I shall take her away to those who do. I'll give you a week, and then I'll come back and see how you're treating her. She's a great deal too good for any of you. End quote. Then she flew away and left Ursula to make friends as best she could. But Ursula realized almost immediately that was never going to happen here.
No, they suck.
They suck. Every time she spoke or moved, the people around her looked shocked, like she had slapped them. Eventually, she was so afraid to do anything at all to offend them that she burst into tears. And when she did that, everyone was scandalized and like wouldn't talk to her anymore. And she's just like, oh my God. They said, quote, this is indeed a change after our sweet princess. And somebody else said, yes, indeed. When one remembers how even after her head was struck off, she behaved so beautifully and only said, just so. They're like, yeah, that was good of her.
That's what we want.
That's what we want. All the ladies disliked Ursula and were not afraid to show her their dislike in their cold way that wasn't rude. They just ignored her.
Yeah.
When Tabaret returned to check on her a week later, she saw her pale and thin, afraid to speak over a whisper. She asked, what's wrong? Don't you like being here? Aren't they kind to you? And Ursula burst into tears and said, take me back, dear Tabaret. Take me back to Oliver and Philip and Belle. As for these people, I hate them. At this, Tabaret smiled and patted her head, and then went to the king and the courtiers. She said, now how is it that I find the Princess Ursula in tears? You're making her unhappy. When you had that bit of, quote, wood and leather princess, you treated her perfectly. Now that you have, quote, a real flesh and blood woman, none of you care for her. The king began, our late dear daughter, and Tabaret interrupted and said, I'll give you a choice. Would you rather have the real Princess Ursula or a sham? And the king, like, looked at her for a bit and said, well, I can't make this decision without my counsel, of course. It's not my decision. And so he called all his courtiers, and the fairy was like, all right, go get the princesses. So the toy was brought with great care from the cupboard, and her head was placed on a table beside her. So she literally is a woman's body with no head.
Yeah.
The real princess came in with her eyes still red from crying and her chest heaving. The prime minister said, I should think there should be no doubt which one we would prefer. And they all voted, and every vote was for the sham. Tabaret laughed. She said, you pack of sillies and idiots, but you shall have what you want. And she picked the head up and with a wave of her wand, screwed it back on the body. It said, certainly, in a pleasant voice. And on hearing this, quote, all the courtiers gave something as like a cheer as they thought polite, while the old king did not speak for joy. He immediately set about abdicating and leaving the government in the hands of his daughter, the toy princess. Hearing this, everyone applauded. Tabaret laughed scornfully and took the real Ursula in her arms and flew her back to the fisherman's cottage. And the last lines of the story are, in the evening, the city was illuminated, and there were great rejoicings at the recovery of the princess. But Ursula remained in the cottage and married Oliver and lived happily with him for the rest of her life. The end.
I loved that.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful story.
I really love that. What do you think?
I like the commentary of that.
It is so good. Okay, so Mary Augusta de Morgan was born in 1850 and she died in 1907. So that's Victorian age, right? Or is that pre-Victorian? No, late
Victorian.
1800s,
Yeah.
So she's a Victorian woman from England. She was a writer and the author of 3 volumes of fairy tales, On a Pincushion, The Necklace of Princess Fioramonde, and The Wind Fairies. She was also a suffragette, a storyteller, and an educator, and you really get the suffragette part in this story. So this is a picture of her when she was a baby.
Grumpy. I love it.
A little Victorian child, and she does look grumpy.
Yeah. She does not look happy to be in that dress.
No. So they talk about how she grew up. Her mom was like a spiritualist who like always had seances and stuff. And she was just this precocious little girl who was like really taught to like speak her mind and stuff like that. And she was growing up in a time when the best thing a woman could do was be quiet and agreeable.
Yeah.
And she was like, you don't want a real woman. You want a fucking doll that's going to agree with you. And so I loved the commentary on this. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Absolutely.
Of also how a society can like crush somebody's spirit. You know, it's also very Victorian and that's why I say I think the mom in the beginning took her own life, is because that's very Victorian to have that but not say it out loud, you know?
Yeah.
Very like yellow wallpaper-esque. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I was a big fan of that.
I like that story a lot.
What got me, why I kept putting so many quotes on how the king was reacting, is because the king is reacting with huge emotions.
Yeah.
He like shows grief. He cries. Everyone's like, obviously, all the men in the story have huge emotions.
Yes.
And it's literally just the princess and the queen. And like sometimes they don't really talk about the ladies, but also the ladies. They all also put these women down.
Yeah.
For having emotions.
Yeah. It's acceptable when a man does it.
Yeah. It's very clear.
Mm-hmm.
And also that she can have power as long as she conforms to that.
Yes.
Yeah.
As long as she absolutely does not have the mind to wield it.
Yeah. That's it. So good.
It's a really good story. I like that one a lot.
I love it. I want to look up more of her fairy tales.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, guys, if you have any thoughts on these stories, please reach out on anywhere you can. Instagram, Discord, email us, sortofthestory@gmail.com. All of our links are in our show notes on this episode and every episode. You can see a full list of our stories on our website, sortofthestory.com. And you can go right now and leave us a 5-star review. That's also something you can do. You have the ability.
You lucky so-and-so.
God, you know what? We don't offer this all the time, but for today only, you can leave us a 5-star review. Yeah, we like you. We want to hang out with you. So please reach out. Let us know who you are, what you think, what you're like, what are your likes and dislikes, your age, sex, location. You know, I don't know. Send us a picture of a dog.
Don't tell us that. Don't tell people on the internet that.
Except for us. We're safe. Don't worry about it. Yeah, and we will post some stuff about these stories on our social media. So go check those out. Is there anything else, Max?
That's all for me.
That's all for now, folks. Thanks for hanging out. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye.
So for my birthday, Max got me a bunch of bug stuff, which immediately came very useful. I took my 3rd graders out and I let them use a little bug catcher with the magnifying glass on it, and they caught a caterpillar, and then immediately saw the caterpillar was being eaten by ants.
Oh my God.
It was horrific. So then I had to rip ants off of a caterpillar with just my fingers, and they were like, "Get it, Miss Rabideau, get it!" I was like, "This is horrific," because the ant really had a hold on it. Anyway, I'm changed as a person.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you also got me a terrarium, and now I have a bee living in our house.
Her name's Stumbleina.
I named her Stumbleina because she has clearly an inner ear problem. She can't fly. She was dying on the ground because it was very cold today. And clearly she was very old. She doesn't have any fuzz on her anymore. And they let them out there to die alone. And I was like, not on my watch, Stumbleina, I'm here. And she can't stay up, right?
No.
She has so much energy, but she spends most of her time on her back with her little legs like flailing in the air, like, ah! She falls off of everything. She also had a friend. I named her B. Arthur.
Aww.
B. Arthur, I thought was dead. And then when I got her inside and she warmed up, she was like, I'm fine. I was like, all right. So then I just put her in the bee hole. And she went back in.
The bee hole.
I put her right in the bee hole. And she and she went back in to join her sisters in the bee hole. Anyway, Stumbleina's going to live out the rest of her hours with us.
Good. I'm
Yeah.
very happy for her.
Haven't had a chance to use the butterfly net, but oh boy, what I did. Max got me a butterfly net that is, I can confirm, big enough to catch a kindergartner. We played.
It really is.
No, I know that. We played Catch a Kindergartner. Where they would run around and then I would catch them with a butterfly net. And they would stop and be like, oh no! And then I would put the butterfly net over their heads.
Got him.
It goes down their whole bodies. It's a giant fucking net.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to be that big.
I love it. If I'm ever charged with catching the biggest fucking butterfly in the world, oh boy, I'm getting it. Or perhaps a toddler.
Yeah, it's a real like the dog catcher nets.
Yeah,
kind of what it looks like.
I look like I'm in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, like coming up in the child catching band.